Namaskar. Hello and welcome to P Guru's channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. Today at 5:45 thereabouts, there is going to be a town hall meeting where Congressman Ro Khanna will be meeting with his constituents. I mean, this is a regular occurrence. Congressman Khanna always comes here, listens to his constituents, listens to their concerns, and then tries to see what best he can. This has been a custom for a few years now. Today's town hall meeting gathers special significance because there are many people who are going to be rallying outside the town hall because people are not very happy about the stony silence that Congressman Khanna has been keeping regarding the SB 403 California caste discrimination case that State Senator Aisha Wahab is trying to bring. And this one has really touched a raw nerve amongst many people who believe, and this is the truth, that everybody comes to America seeking meritocracy. The way the system is set up, that it rewards meritocracy. This has been the crux of the reason why America has become so successful in the world, because it is a land of immigrants. So I've told you why people come here. Now, if you are wondering why I'm having the Golden Gate in the backdrop, it is because you can see the same kind of an arch structure in the logo of Cisco Systems. In fact, some people say the Cisco of Cisco Systems comes from the fact that it is part of San Francisco. Anyway, this is history from a long way back. Today, I just wanted to try and understand why it is that Equality Labs is trying to brazen it out by saying, I'm just reading the title of their press statement. Cisco still faces caste bias suit as caste equity movement continues its fight to end caste across all workplaces. I then went back yesterday and I was thinking, what is this? How is it that this is not done? Why I say this is done and dusted is because this was never a case. There never was a case. And how I came to that conclusion was going through castgate.org. Now, I've been telling you this to read this for many days now. I don't know how many of you have had time to read it. So I thought, okay, I'll go and take a look at the case, study it in some detail, and then I saw some striking points that told me, oh my goodness, there never was a case. Somehow CRD, this is today's name, California Rights Department or something of that nature. It used to be a different name before that, CFEH or something like that. Why they changed the name, we don't know. What we do know is once this case started, the main lawyer of CRD got fired by the governor of California, Gavin Newsom. And there are so many egregious errors that have been made. I thought I'll just document this really quickly for you. This is important for those of you who are planning to attend the rally today. You need to understand and arm yourself with the facts of the case thus far. And that's why I'm going to put those things out to you now. So here we go. So there are 5 reasons that I looked at by just going through the timeline. There are 87 bullet points there, and almost all of them have extra reference. That means if you want more data on that, you can click on the link and you'll get more data. Completely factual, completely based on records that are available for public scrutiny. The only thing is, like everything else, things were scattered all over the place. So castgate.org has actually put together everything in a cogent place, a place where you can go and look at the timeline, see what happened, and then I leave it to you to decide what really happened here and how is it that despite knowing that there was no case, that CRD tried to brazen it out. So here we go. Next slide, please. So the court records show there were at least 30 plus corrupt actions on part of the department. There were 4 unique constitutional violations. Now, I'll just touch upon one because, you can keep on saying 1, 2, 3, 4. The point here is to give you mota what exactly happened, how this is been documented to great detail, and yet CRD tried to brazen it out. I don't know what it is that these people have. I have some guesses. I'll do that thing at the end of this presentation. So the court records show 30 plus corrupt actions, 4 unique constitutional violations, 5 plus deliberate fabrications, 5 plus intentional tampering of dates, 9 plus smearing of Indian Americans. This is what gets my goat. and one shocking claim of a salary discrimination against the CEO who gave away millions. I touched upon this in my talk with Nikunj yesterday about once the withdrawal of the case by CRD came through yesterday. We had a chat with I and Nikun Trivedi of Kona had a discussion, and I touched upon this, how the CEO actually gave away all his money to all the employees. I mean, this is all documented. I'm going to walk you through this thing and see how this thing played out. So in January 2023, seeing the case not going through fast enough, the defendants, that is the Cisco employees, they filed a motion to sanction the CRD, and it did happen. Next slide, please. So, like I said, there are 87 or 88, something like that, line items. I just picked 5 main ones because all I want all of our viewers to do is please spend some time, go through it, read it, because you think that, oh, the facts state otherwise, and therefore, I'm going to win a case. No. There are people now who are deliberate, and they want to try and hide inconvenient facts. They want to not tell you the truth. And somehow that means they are basically saying, this is the place I want to go. This is the verdict I want, and I'll work backwards from there. That's exactly what it looks like when I read this thing. So on John 11, John Doe, by the way, viewers, is something that is the name of a complainant. They usually hide this thing. This is just like how in India, a rape victim usually doesn't state her name. It could be his name also. They don't state the name. So the John Doe is like the person who was actually complaining of caste discrimination. So he, the thing was, the whole case was filed saying that he was not awarded a few $1,000s of salary increment in October 2016. Despite Mr. Iyer, who was a CEO, having given his entire CEO equity, which amounted to millions of dollars. Okay, so this was a startup within Cisco. See, Cisco has a very interesting policy. I have never seen any other company in the Silicon Valley that has the capacity to absorb new startup that it acquires and put the products into the mainstream as good as Cisco. They had a process in place. They will acquire. And there was a time when they were acquiring 1 or 2 companies every quarter. That's how they grew so dramatically during the 90s and early 2000s. And so there was an internal startup of which Mr. Sundar Iyer was the CEO. And here the documents say, I mean, you can go to this 11 and then you can go and claim, you can go and click on the links there to find out more data about what is mentioned here. So the complainant actually was making millions of dollars. And yet the person felt that he didn't get an increment of a few $1,000s, and therefore he felt that he was being discriminated. Why this is utter nonsense will be obvious to you when you look at the slides coming later. Now, the other person that was sued, his name is Ramana Kompella. What happens is that Ramana Kompella reports to his boss, whose name is Tom Edsall. Tom Edsall is, I'm just making it clear so that because we are talking about caste discrimination, I have to say this thing. Tom Edsall is a white. And he is the boss of Ramana Kompella, and John Doe works for Ramana Kompella. Now, what Ramana Kompella was asked to do, and by the way, any startup, you are asked to give weekly timesheets, especially in these days where, people are working from home, people are working from, far out places. They'll be living in the East Coast and working on a West Coast company. Communication is very important. What you did, where you are stuck, what are you waiting for, from whom, all these things come out when you do a weekly status report. And this has been used as a reason to complain against Ramana Kompella. Why? Because this John Doe has identified Ramana Kompella, or maybe whoever else is running the thing in the back engine, said that, oh, this guy is also Brahmin, go after him, sue him. This is exactly how this thing was all planned. That's how it looks to me. Okay, this is the utterest nonsense I've seen. How can you say that somebody asking me a weekly status report constitutes that this guy is discriminating against me? God damn it, this is a startup. In startup, only 1 in 10 succeeds. Everybody is laser focused on doing their job. And another thing, by the way, the reason why some startups succeed and others fail is because in the successful startup, every person pulls like the weight of three full-time employees. One guy will do three people's job, and even if it is 90% of the three people job, that is enough to get you over that point where people say, okay, this is the legit product, I want to buy it because these people are small, they can't grow fast enough, I can put rocket infusion of cash and this can really take off. This is exactly how VCs think. When somebody gets a series A funding, that's what happens. Idea is good, like they need money to execute. That's why we are going to go in and give money. So everybody is working towards that goal. So to say that, oh, this guy asked me for a weekly status report and Ramana was just complying with his boss. And in an organization, everybody is going to find out what the heck you are doing. You are getting paid big bucks. It's completely justified to do that. To use this as a cause, it beggars belief that CRD doesn't even understand this. What are these guys? They've never done any work in private sector or what? Weekly status reports are like, bread and butter for any company's functioning. Anyway, next slide, please. Now, at that time, this Department of California used to be called DFEH. So DFEH, CRD, the same thing. They just morphed their name. Clearly, DFEH had some bad baggage, which is why I think even the government department says, let's not have that name. Now let's have the new name. We call it CRD. Okay, so this is really interesting. The lawsuit says that all three head positions were first offered to another meritorious Dalit. And you see the obviousness here. The question was never that Dalit was being overlooked. The question was a certain John Doe did not get a certain position. And just to prove it, there were three heads of engineering. Like, for example, you will have in a startup, right? You'll have your next level, vice president level. You'll have a head of engineering, head of product design, head of marketing. You can have many more. It depends upon what kind of a product it is being designed. So these jobs were given, and one of those jobs was picked up by a meritorious Dalit. See, it is never what you are. Nobody asks anybody, what is your background? Where are you? At most, you can talk about which state you are from, just to understand the differences in culture, or maybe when people are meeting together for lunch or something like that. Beyond that, nobody ever asks about your caste background or any other thing. Time kahan hai yaar ki logon ko? Whenever you are in a startup, you are in a 30-minute, compressed lunch mode. Go quickly, eat something, get back, because you're still, even while you are eating, the problem is running at the back of your mind. That is, I'm telling you, startup environments are where three jobs are being done by one individual. Person has not much time. You put your blinkers on, you say, okay, this is what I need to get accomplished by the end of the day, and I work towards that. So this kind of they try to hide the fact that one of these promotions was to another Dalit, because that would dilute their case. Then afterwards, in October, they ratified, they refiled the case in state court. So first they put one, and in fact, I don't know if you have seen my pgurus.com article. I had specifically written a detailed article about the first time when they filed the case, how that I had no idea. These are all things that are coming out only in the last few days. I had no idea about this. And I had said that this is the wrong case that the California department should be fighting. And how did they all know what is right and what is wrong? Anyway, so I just wanted to highlight that even then I knew that this was full of holes. And now it is becoming abundantly clear that there is really no case at all. Next slide, please. I'm not reading the entire text there. I would, you guys can read it so you know what exactly is going on. But the DFEH, in their complaint, defined caste as a strict Hindu social and religious hierarchy. I mean, you take any word you can get from the dictionary, throw it in and say, okay, this is what is a caste. Basically, what they wanted was the outcome. They wanted to somehow nail one company of caste discrimination, and they were working towards that outcome. Facts be damned. That's how it looks to me. Okay, so they assigned Mr. Iyer a Hindu caste, and this is malicious, as the DFEH knew since 2018, as these uncontradicted facts were provided to the plaintiff during the investigation of those administrative complaint. See, you can say, oh, okay. Now, Mr. Iyer says that he is not really a practicing, they were trying to nail him as a Brahmin. That he says, oh, no, he doesn't believe in God. He thinks he's an atheist and he has a fundamental right to religion, his religious beliefs. Well, turns out that in his LinkedIn profile created years ago, he has mentioned all these things. You see what I'm saying? They didn't even do due diligence to find out the people that we are going after, what are their bases. So this shows that CRD or whatever, DFEH, they had really no idea. And this is what's going to happen, guys. Even if, Seattle comes out with this resolution, right? Implementation is near impossible. And it is just a mess. It's a waste of time for the HR. You will just, they will get completely exasperated. Maybe that's what they want. They want to know, oh, okay, this is a Hindu name. Wait a minute. Oh, gosh. Now I have to do all this due diligence on caste discrimination. Is there a better candidate? Is that what these people want? The unfortunate thing is, Tenmuri Soundararajan is of Indian descent. Kshama Sawant, Indian descent. Ajanta Subramaniam of Harvard, Indian descent. Sunita, I don't remember his last name. She's in Hindu for Human Rights, another group that is being funded by the Alphabet Soup organization, Indian descent. Ila Kanchaya, Indian descent. How sad this is that we are being weaponized against ourselves. Shame on us. Shame on us. Do you think that people like Ajanta Subramaniam, who's a Brahmin-born person, wouldn't know? Kshama Sawant is also a Brahmin. What the heck did you learn in your childhood? And what did your parents teach you? It's just, I can tell you, I've lived more than half of my life in the United States, but the values you learn from Bharat Mata, they never go away. These are value systems. What is right? What is wrong? What is dharma? What is adharma? These things never go away. And it is shame that we allow ourselves to be, used as sepoys to fight what is really an adharmic cause. This is my 2 cents. Anyway, so the department knew that Mr. Iyer had no religious beliefs, and the proof was supplied as part of the LinkedIn profile. And yet, they just still want to brazen it out. Next slide, please. Actually, sorry, go back to the previous slide. Okay, so this is the takeaway there. An American citizen's right to freedom of religion is guaranteed under the First Amendment. This is why I said, remember the 30 plus things, violation of right to freedom of religion. If somebody says this is what I'm practicing, you take them at their face value. Why would somebody want to lie about what their religion is? Although you could be a certain person who wants to be under a particular Indian caste category, but you are practicing something else. Oh, don't talk about that. Let's only talk about this. You know who I'm talking about. Loudmouths. Anyway, next slide, please. So, the defendants allege an improper purpose to harass or to cause unnecessary delay or expense by the CRD. They present several uncontradicted facts. Motion for sanctions. If you go and look at line item 81, there'll be a link there. You can go and look at all the different things. And imagine if this case was to have taken place in India, they would still be asking for submissions. At least in this case, 3 years, the ordeal is over. Now they have filed for a withdrawal with, there is a word that I'm searching for. It'll come to me. So basically what that means is that the CRD can never file this case again. They are done. This is it. And some people are trying to misinterpret that and say, no, this is not it. This is not it. No. This is done. You cannot take this case anymore. And they are intentionally saying we messed up. And I told you, right, the lead lawyer got fired by the governor of Gavin Newsom. There is something rotten in the department completely. The CRD is completely rotten. It's corrupt. It appears to be brazen. It appears to be suffering from hubris from just looking at this data. I'm not, I'm not, casting aspersions on the entire group. But if this is the sample, and if this is how they try to litigate their cases, God save California. Where are we going? Meritocracy was the hallmark of California. People came to Silicon Valley because they could share new ideas, they could dream new ideas, they could implement those new ideas. This is what Silicon Valley was always about. And they want to ruin that. Next one, please. Okay, so that brings us to an end of all this the slide presentation I had. I've already taken what 20 minutes. This is a little long for a monologue. And at this point of time, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to put those things up here. I can try and answer to the best of my ability. But it is a must for you to read the cascade.org documentation. I'll give you the links. Go ahead and take a look at that, and you will understand where I'm coming from. Satya Narayanan wants to know, very intricate and comprehensive analysis. Nobody has gone into this so exhaustively as far as I have read on the matter. Kudos to you, Sri. Do you think this episode would have an impact on hiring of Indian empiricals of a complaining nature in future? Satya, America is a very open-minded society. I told you, right? This country was built on immigrants. And anywhere they saw merit, they immediately recognized it. In fact, Silicon Valley is a real melting pot. You will see so many different accents of English being spoken. In some meetings, you have to really carefully listen to what a particular person is saying. Yet that particular person will be having a very important role to play because the sheer brilliance of that person. His work shows how brilliant he is. So what if he has some struggle with a particular word or the other? People understand. They can, sometimes the manager will, say, okay, did you mean this or did you mean this, or go and write on the board? Because once you start writing a flow chart, that's the language that everybody understands. My point here is this is a world's best melting point of civilizations. This is place where new ideas get hatched. Look at how many successful companies have come out of the Silicon Valley. And I'm not talking about just high-tech companies. There are many medical companies. Gilead Sciences, one of the most successful pharma companies. So this is a place where everything is recognized. Your merit is recognized. Your ability, your vision, your passion is recognized. Fantastic schools like Stanford, UC Berkeley and Santa Clara, and all these things are being taken aim at by a few lumpens who want to somehow stretch the truth. That's how I see it. Next, please. So the answer to your question is no. I don't believe so, because merit has its own way of shining. The interviews are not easy. And by the time the interview rounds are done, people know who you are, what you stand for, and how brilliant you are. So I'm hoping that answers your question. Next, for Michael Myers, heard that up to $950 of grocery theft is allowed in California, and that's the reason why Walmart closing the stores in California. Is this right, sir? Michael, it's not all over California. It's the city of San Francisco that kind of said that anything below 950, we don't even want you to report to us. So what ended up happening was, there are some difficult neighborhoods in San Francisco where the Walmart had a presence, some other companies had a presence, and they have closed those stores. See, the thing is, it hurts the very people it is supposed to help. Because what happens is, the underserved sections of the society don't even have basic transportation. So by being close to them, they can walk to the store, buy their groceries. But when you have some things like this, where somebody just hits the store and then walks away with goods, there are many videos that tell you what was happening. But this is really the wrong direction in which the state is headed. And Mr. Gavin Newsom has presidential ambitions. Good luck to him. Certainly he doesn't have my vote. Remember, I told you I'm an independent and I vote based on the candidate, and this person has to prove that he really has good intent at heart. He did an okay job during the COVID time, but beyond that, no. Next. Karthik Vishwanathan wants to know, why are we seeing so much of vitriol here and in US? Modi bashing is going beyond control now. Every day I see Rana Ayub, fraud Zubair peddling lies. So, Karthik, you notice what happened in the case of Kajal Hindustani, right? Did you watch that video that I had in conversation with Jagdish Shetty yesterday? Yesterday for me, but morning for you guys. What did she say wrong? I don't know. I'm hoping that people have commented saying that, yes, this was what she said and that was wrong. Because 10 times that amount of vitriol gets spewed out in many masjids across India every Friday. And I'm hearing similar stories in churches also. Certain denominations, not, I won't blame all of them. Some denominations are so radically messed up right from their childhood that God save India if things go along the same way. So what was needed? This is the one big beef I have against the Modi government. What was needed was law implemented equally across the spectrum. Why did they not bring uniform code, civil code in when they came back to power in 2019? See, what happens is you have a honeymoon period when you come back, 3 months or so. In that, you want to just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bring all the big bang reforms in initially, and then work towards implementing them. Don't give time. What they did instead was they should have gone to what the other things that they had promised. But Mr. Modi has a double take. 3 days after Amit Shah announces in the parliament that NRC is going to be applicable to the entire country, he goes out and says, no, it's not going to be there. What the heck is wrong with them? Why can't they speak with the same voice? Anyway, this is my beef against the government, Modi government. I also don't like the way they handled the Shaheen Bagh incident, the Delhi riots, everything else that happened after that. You have dreams of becoming a $5 trillion economy. You think people are just going to come line up and give you money? See, despite all these things, if India is attracting foreign investment, it is because there is no other place that is even remotely as capable of India today. But things can change. Don't take things for granted. I still feel that this government needs to be very even-handed in its implementation of law and order. So what if law and order is a state subject? Can't you direct them? There are constitutional laws that tell you how the central government can tell this is what the facts are on the ground. You better act. The DMKs and the BSRs will act. Why would they not act? There is precedence of the government being dismissed for not doing what they are supposed to be doing. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. You have to act decisively. You can be strict, but you have to be fair. Don't worry about what the foreign countries are saying. Do you see what is going on in Senate and in various state legislatures in the United States? Each party is trying to make sure that the other party guys doesn't even enter the legislative buildings, including what played out with Donald Trump. What is it that Ms. Pelosi has so much against Donald Trump that she wants to impeach him twice? I mean, what a waste of taxpayer money. That's what I keep coming back to. It is my taxpayer money that pays all these salaries. And I feel bad when instead of doing something good for the country, God knows there are lots of problems. And they just want to indulge in all these cheap political gimmicks. I want to make sure that you never become president again. And that person says, I want to make sure that you never enter the country again. What sort of nonsense is this? Are we children? That's my beef. Next question, please. Mr. Lee, how much was the raise in dollars that John Doe wanted as a proportion to his net salary? Mr. Lee, you will laugh when I tell you the numbers. I remember somewhere, I don't know if it is mentioned there. This is all conversations, okay? Typically what happens is, how much do you think you can get as a raise? Let us say you are making $200,000. $200,000 is minimum. They might have been making more. 5% raise, 200,000, 5% is what? $10,000. Something, what I'm trying to say is typically if the company does well, you have bonuses. You have bonuses at the end of the year. You also get more incentive stock options where you get to exercise your stock option. And that will be like a 4-year vesting period, 25% now, next year, 25, another year, 25. So these are like, you get these options once in a while and you can exercise that and make money off of it. So I don't think that the amount was the question here. They just wanted an excuse. Somehow, they knew that Sundarayar was a Brahmin. They knew that Ramana Kompella was a Brahmin. By the way, I didn't know that the name Kompella means a Brahmin. I have no idea, guys. You see, the thing is, this is the problem. We all don't know. We don't know what is our caste. When we come to United States, we are so focused on putting down roots, bringing up our children, making sure they get good education, making sure that they have a good future. So they don't have to go through the life that we went through. This is all people think about. In fact, this is the reason why the Hindu American community is so successful. And that has now attracted, why is this fellow so successful? They forget how hard the first generation immigrants work. It's true for all immigrants. It just so happens that the Indian American community has been extremely successful. That is because of the 1990s and 2000s, when there was an exodus of the brilliant minds, because they couldn't find any opportunities in India. That is really the truth. Okay, so sometimes you'll have that, but nowadays it's not so. People stay in India and they take up startup jobs. They're doing extremely well in India itself. Mohan, thank you, Mohan. It seems somewhere in the East wants to be only superpower, and some with Jay Chance is destabilizing us and hitting them where it hurts most, including and not limited to Silicon Valley. You're absolutely right, Mohan, but all the evil ideas seem to always germinate from here. Equality Labs, I think, is a California corporation. You never know with these people, okay? One day their website will say one thing, then they'll see that, oh, there is some inconvenient truth in this statement. They'll go and rub it off, sanitize it. Next day, that data will be gone. Like, for example, the association of Tenmuri Soundararajan with Huma Dar and Dar's daughter, Natasha Dar. They try to, oh, no. Because why? Huma Dar is an inconvenient fact. Her father was a officer in Pakistan army. That fellow, I believe, has also served in Bangladesh during the genocide, the Hindu genocide. So this, and for, city after city, university after university. What are you, Harvard? Aren't you brilliant legal intellectuals? Aren't you the creme de la creme of the society? What about you, Stanford? And what about you, California State? And UC Davis is a California system that is not in a state. They also have done this thing. I mean, you have to do some basic groundwork. Everybody now has egg on their faces. What if, people gang together and go after all of you for discriminating? Because how many children of Indian American origin lost out their college admissions? This year, this fall, I'm hearing horror stories. So this has already done a lot of damage. The best thing it can be done is eat humble pie, get out of all these things, and I expect some serious explaining from Aisha Wahab as to why SB 403 is going to be withdrawn. If she doesn't do it, I'm afraid her political career is over. This is not going to stop here. That's what I think, because the facts are now completely available for everyone to see. Next one. Vamshi, I'm in Bay Area. How can I contribute to your work? Vamshi, you can contact at pgurus.com. Please reach out to me. I have a lot of projects where I need to take it to the next phase so that I can present you all these slide decks. I have a team doing it for me, but sometimes we are overwhelmed with data. So we have to make sure that there is data, but the data needs to be presented in a way that you all can understand, because I understand you are giving us the gift of your valuable time. There are so many things to do. And that by listening to this program and asking these questions, I know you are investing in it because you are curious. You believe that we provide you value. So in that respect, I do need some help. So please reach out to me at contact@pgurus.com, and I'll be happy to see how best I can make use of your talent and time. Thank you. Next. Karthik again, anything you want in terms of support, please do let your listeners know. I would love to support this cause. See, very simple, Karthik. PayPal.com, we take donations. Okay. And every time we start any program, you can see the thing. It's paypal.me/pgurus. If you type paypal.me/pgurus, can you put up that string? There you go. That's one way you can donate to us. The other one is, of course, you can do super thanks. And I think when the program is live, it's called super chat. You can donate that way. And more importantly, there are lots of books that we are putting out. If you happen to be in India, you can order the books and then you can come bring it back. Give books as gifts to your children, to your friends. It used to be the work when I was growing up, because there was no TV then. I mean, there was one Doordarshan channel that started, I think, in the late 60s, or I don't even remember when Doordarshan started in India. So people used to read books. A book opens up your vision for the whole world. It's a totally different experience than reading a tweet or reading even a Facebook post, because it's got a lot of bias riding inside it. A book, on the other hand, will give you more perspectives. That's what we really need to develop. Before jumping to conclusions on any topic, we need to be able to look at the pros and cons. Tell me today, if you read CNN, can you get the right wing view? If you watch Fox, will you get the left wing view? So where is the middle ground here? That's what PGurus is trying to do. Next question, please. All right, that brings us to a close of today's session. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.